Today we're going to be making Christmas cookies, and I've got a guest chef with me. Who are you?
I'm Eli.
This is my son Eli, and he's going to help me bake because this is Christmas and a Christmas tradition. All right, so first off, what do we have in this right here?
Butter and sugar.
Butter and sugar. And what are we going to do with this butter and sugar?
You're going to mix it up.
Mix it up. And we call that creaming together the butter and the sugar. So, Eli, put that on for me.
What,
There we go.
How high?
Just low to start out with. All right. In here, we've got some flour, baking powder, and salt. And Eli's going to whisk that up. Be gentle so it doesn't fly out of the bowl. We're also, here in just a second, going to add a little bit of vanilla once this gets creamed, and some eggs. I'm going to post the recipe for you so that you can make your own at home. This has a lot of different steps to it, and you'll see it takes a long time to complete all these cookies, but it's so worth it, and it's a great Christmas tradition to start with your family. And these are one of my favorite Christmas cookies. What do you like? Do you like these? Yeah. All right. So now the next thing we're going to do is add the eggs. Go ahead and add the eggs. All right. Turn that back on low. And let's put in about a capful of vanilla. Once that looks good and mixed up, turn that off and let's scrape the sides, okay, Eli? Does that look mixed up to you?
Yep.
All right. Now, Eli, what do you think the next step is?
To pour in this.
Yes. Do you think we're going to add it all at one time?
No.
No. Why do you think not?
Because it'll become too much and it won't mix up a lot. It won't all mix up.
Yeah, it won't all mix up. And you've got the risk of it flying out everywhere, too. And that's also why we're going to put it on low speed to mix it up. All right. So, Eli, that's fine. You can put that right there. Go ahead and add a little bit of the flour, probably about 1/4 of it. Try to get it into the bowl, not on the counter. That's good. Let's start with that. Once that looks like it's mixed up, go ahead and add some more. What's it look like?
Looks good.
All right. And he's just going to continue to do that until it's all mixed in, and then we'll show you what it looks like. So we've added all of the flour, and this is what it looks like. We can touch it. It's not too sticky. If it's stickier than this, that's fine. Just leave it. If it's really, really sticky, you probably didn't measure your flour right, and you'll need to add more flour. But it's always better to add flour afterwards than add too much flour to the beginning, because you can always add more flour, but you can't take it out, right? Yes. All right, so this is perfect. And once we roll these out, if this was a little bit sticky, we could always add a little bit of flour to it at that time. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to divide this dough in half, and we are going to wrap each half in some saran wrap and put that in the refrigerator. Let that chill for about an hour. All right, Eli, I'll let you do that. And then when this has chilled, we will take it and roll it out into shapes and bake it and then decorate them.
So are we done?
Welcome to the Acid Cooking Show, sponsored by the Kraken County Culinary Cafe. Go Mustangs! Yay!
All right, so the cookie dough has been in the refrigerator for a few hours, and now I'm going to take it out and roll it. You can see that I put it in the refrigerator in kind of flat patties because that'll make it easier to roll out. And I'm only going to work with just a little bit of this at a time. So I have already cleaned my countertops off, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on the surface and then rub that around. I don't want too much, just enough so that the dough does not stick to the countertop. I'll put a little bit on my hands as well, a little bit on the top of my dough, a little on the rolling pin. All right, so now I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out. Start in the middle, work my way out. And I want this to be about 1/8 of an inch thick. If it cracks on you, then just stick that back together and keep going. As this comes back to room temperature, it will get easier to roll out. And just short rolls. You don't want this too thick and you don't want it too thin. If it's too thin, it will bake too quickly. Too thick won't bake fast enough. But you also want them consistent sizes. All right, and I'm gonna work with one type of cookie cutter at a time. You can do different shapes if you want to. I'm gonna take my tree here, start at the edge, and then just work my way around. And once you have all your shapes cut out, you'll go around and pick those up, put them onto a baking pan that has parchment paper. I like parchment paper. It comes up really easy, and I can use this over and over again to bake different batches. And then once you have them all finished, my oven is finished preheating to 375 degrees. Then I just take these, put them on my pan, but the excess I'm just going to take and roll back up and keep doing this. Same process until all of my dough is gone. And then I'll bake these in the oven for about, I like mine on the lighter side and softer, for about 8 minutes. If you like yours crispy, about 10 minutes to 12 minutes will work well. I don't leave them in until they are brown or anything like that. They probably will be whiter when they come out of the oven. I'm going to show you a very simple frosting recipe that I use. It was given to me by my Aunt Judy, who actually gave me this sugar cookie recipe. She used to make these cookies all the time when I was little, and my sister and I really loved them. And I guess because they take so long, she stopped making them, and she passed the recipe on to me to make. So that's what I'm going to do today. You could also buy canned frosting or make your own buttercream at home if you want to. You also could look up one of the many royal icing tutorials on YouTube and make your own royal icing. Flood the cookies, pipe on your decorations, and those are really beautiful. But I really like the taste of this frosting, and it's really simple. So I'm going to show you right now how to make it and some easy ways to decorate with it. So I've got my stand mixer. If you've just got a hand mixer, you can do that. You could also probably do this by hand, but you might have some more lumps in your powdered sugar. So I've got about a pound of powdered sugar in here, in this bowl. And I've got a half of a stick of melted butter, a fourth of a cup. And yes, this one does call for melted butter. So I'm just going to dump that in and start putting this on low. Now I've got some vanilla. I'm going to put a little bit of vanilla in there for flavoring. And then this recipe calls for evaporated milk, which makes it really rich, and I love the taste of this. So evaporated milk, not sweetened condensed. They look very similar at the store. I actually accidentally bought sweetened condensed milk, and my husband ended up, he was so nice to go and get me the right kind of milk. And a little bit of this goes a long way. You want to add just a small amount at a time. And I'm going to turn up my mixer now. And I'm just going to whip this up until it looks like there's no more lumps, or very few. Scrape down my sides, my rubber spatula, and put it on again. Now I like to check the consistency of this periodically to make sure that I'm not adding too much milk. I always could add a little bit more powdered sugar, but it's easier just to get it to the right consistency the first time. All right, so this is falling off of my spoon fairly nicely. I actually could stop here and decorate the cookies with ease. So what I'm going to do now is mix up some colors. I'm going to start by just doing some trees. So I'm going to do some green and some yellow. And I want to save some white in case I want to make some more colors later. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the frosting in some different bowls, however many colors you want, that's how many bowls you'll need. And then I've got some gel frosting here. I take a toothpick, just make a hole here in this gel frosting lid. I'm going to take and then just kind of stir this in to frosting. until it's the color that I want. I may have to use multiple toothpicks. I do not want to contaminate the gel coloring with the icing. All right, I'm gonna give that a stir. And this has already made a really pretty green color. And I'm pretty happy with that color. Okay. Now I'm going to color my yellow. You can also buy these colors right here, like this yellow in a tube, from probably Kroger, Walmart in the baking aisle, and they are classic Betty Crocker, or there's different brands of gel food coloring. You can buy these. The ones here are Wilton, and I've also got some Sunnyside Bakery gels that you can get at Hobby Lobby. So wherever you want to buy your food coloring, that's perfectly fine. I just recommend the gel over the liquid. I don't think they even make a whole lot of liquid anymore. All right, and stir that up. Have a really nice vibrant yellow here. I like that, so I'm going to stop there. Okay, so if you do not have professional baking piping bags and things like that at home, then this is a really easy way to decorate cookies where you don't need a whole lot of fancy stuff. So you don't have to spend a lot of money going out to the store unless you want to invest in some professional decorating equipment. So what I'm going to do for this tree here is I'm just going to take a little bit of the frosting and I'm going to put a little bit on the cookie. And then I'm going to take the back of my spoon. I like to do this better than using a knife or something like that. I'll take the back of the spoon and I just start pushing the frosting wherever I want it to go. I'm going to make it the shape of this tree here. Just pushing the frosting wherever I want it to go. And now I have my frosting in the shape of the tree. So instead of piping on ornaments or something like that, I have some multicolored sprinkles that are going to be my ornaments, and I'm just going to put those on to my tree. You definitely want to put sprinkles on before your frosting sets up. So every 1 or 2 cookies that you do, if you're going to use sprinkles, you need to do them immediately, because once the frosting starts to dry, then the sprinkles will not stick. Now, I have a little cheat way of if you don't have any piping bags, then for small decorations, you could just use some Ziploc bags. I don't recommend this if you're going to be doing a lot of piping, because sometimes these break pretty easily on you. But some people have called this the poor man's piping bag. There's just a lot of people who don't have professional baking equipment, and that's not a terrible thing. But like I said, if you're going to be doing a lot of this, I would just go ahead and invest in buying some professional. So I'm just going to fold down this to make kind of a cuff. And I'm going to put it into one corner of my piping bag. And I'm going to pipe on some stars to my tree. don't need a whole lot right now because I probably am going to be using a piping bag here in a little bit to finish the rest of these off. All right, now I'm just going to go to the end, cut off just a little bit of the tip of the plastic. And then I'm just going to draw on my star. And there I have my decorated Christmas tree cookie. So I'm gonna put that down. And if you don't want to decorate them in any specific way, you don't have to. Like I said, you could just smear some frosting on and then eat them, and I'm sure that they'll be delicious. But I hope to see pictures of your finished cookies, and if you need some help or advice, let me know. I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. And like I said, there are lots of YouTube tutorials out there about how to professionally decorate cookies. So I suggest watching one of those if you want to use royal frosting or royal icing, sorry, and make them look like they do from the bakeries. But I think my Christmas tree is really cute, and I'm going to get Eli and we're going to continue to decorate cookies for Christmas. I'll see you guys later. Bye.